did not understand the example, we have taken one simple example. So in that example, what happens? We have create one base class. So name of that base class is class A. Okay, and in that class A, under the public access specifier, we have created two data members, that is integer x and integer y. And to read the value of integer x and integer y, first of all, we are going to create one member function, that is get data. Okay, and under that member function we are going to read the value of x and y. Okay, now again we are going to create another class, that is class B, but that class B should use the data members of class A. So it means that class B should be the derived class of class A. Okay, and now in a class B we are going to print the product of x and y, and x and y should be defined in a x and y should be present in a class A. It means that x and y we are going to inherit from class A. Okay, so that's why class B will become the derived class of class A. Now in a class C, what happens? We are going to print the sum of integer variable, that is x and y. Okay, so that x and y should be present in a class A. Okay, but for some function, we are going to use the integer variable x and y in a class C. It means that class C should inherit the data members from class A. So that's why class C will become the derived class of class A. Okay, and we know that we have to create the object only for the derived class. So here class B and class C are nothing but the derived classes. Okay, so for class B we are going to create one object, that is obj1, and class C we are going to derive, or we are going to create another object that is called as a object 2, that is obj2. Okay, now with the help of object and dot operator we can call the function one by one. So after calling the function we will get, this is the desired output. So see here, first of all we are going to enter the value of x and y. So for x and y we are going to enter the, for x and y we are going to enter the 10 and 5. Okay, now we know that the product function we are going to use means the product of x and y that we are going to use in a class B. Okay, so in that class B we require the value of x and y. Okay, and that x and y should be present in a class A. So that value should inherit in a class B with the help of public access specifier. Okay, so with the help of that, we are going to print the product of x and y. And again, class C, we are going to inherit the data member from class A. So class A should contain the values of x and y, that is 10 and 5. So we are going to print the sum. Once again, we are going to enter the value of x and y. Okay, just 10, 5. I think network should not be doing 10. Value. So product is 50, and if I enter the value of x, okay. So see here, if for the class C, if you can enter the value of x and y as a 15 and 10, so it is totally dependent on you. Means for the both the classes, the value of x and y should be the different one. It is totally dependent on you. If you want to keep that value same, you can keep that value as it is, or you can change the value. So this is the simple hierarchical inheritance. Okay, now the next point, that is hybrid inheritance. So a hybrid inheritance means what? आतापर्यंत आपण काय बघितलं? Single inheritance. Okay, after that we have seen multiple inheritance. After that we have seen multi-level inheritance, and now we have seen hierarchical inheritance. Okay, so four types of inheritance that we have seen. Okay, so while solving any example, if we are used more than one form of इनहेरिटन्स म्हणजे जर समजा एकाच प्रोग्राममध्ये आपण सिंगल आणि हायरार्चिकल इनहेरिटन्स किंवा सिंगल इनहेरिटन्स और मल्टिपल इनहेरिटन्स किंवा मल्टिपल किंवा हायब्रिड किंवा चारही इनहेरिटन्स एकाच प्रोग्राममध्ये जर समजा आपण यूज करत असू सो that type of inheritance should be called as a hybrid inheritance means एकाच एक्झाम्पल मध्ये एकापेक्षा जास्त इनहेरिटन्स जर समजा यूज करत असू so that is called as a hybrid inheritance. So see the example. So this is nothing but the class A. Okay, see block diagram properly. So this is class A. Okay, so that class A is a base class for class B. Means whatever maybe the data members and member function should be present in the class A. So that data members and member function should be inherit in a class B. Okay. Now class C is another different class. Okay. But with the help of that class B and a class C, with the help of that class B and class C, we are going to derive here class B. So see here. For that class A and class B, to see here properly, for that class A and class B, we are going to use the single inheritance. And for class D, for the derived class D, because that class D should be derived from class B and class C. If any derived class should be created from more than one base classes. So that type of inheritance should be called as a multiple inheritance. So class B should be derived from class B and class C. So for that particular, we are going to use the multiple inheritance, and here we are going to use the single inheritance. So in a simple language, I am telling you, if in an example, if we are going to use more than one form of inheritance, so that type of inheritance should be called as a hybrid inheritance. Is it clear? So see here, above block diagram shows the hybrid combination of a single inheritance and multiple inheritance. Single inheritance today use होता है in a class A and class B. Okay, and multiple inheritance is used with the help of class B and class C. We are going to derive class D. So here multiple inheritance is used. Okay. Hybrid inheritance is used in a situation where we need to apply more than one inheritance in a program. जसं मी तुम्हाला आधीच सांगितलं की एका प्रोग्राम मध्ये जर समजा एकापेक्षा जास्त फॉर्मची इनहेरिटन्स आपण यूज करत असू so that type of inheritance should be called as a hybrid inheritance. Now see here, as in other inheritance, based on the visibility mode using access specifier means काय होतंय की आपल्याकडे बेसिकली प्रायव्हेट पब्लिक आणि प्रोटेक्टेड असे तीन टाईपचे ऍक्सेस स्पेसिफायर्स आहेत बरोबर आहे सो डिपेंड ऑन दॅट ऍक्सेस स्पेसिफायर वी कॅन इनहेरिट द डेटा फ्रॉम वन क्लास टू अनदर क्लास ओके जर समजा प्रायव्हेट ऍक्सेस स्पेसिफायर जर समजा आपण बेस क्लास साठी जर समजा यूज केला सो with the help of private access specifier, we cannot access the private data members and member function into the another class. Okay, so that's why it is saying that based on the visibility mode used or access specifier used while deriving the properties of a base class are derived. जर समजा पब्लिक आणि प्रोटेक्टेड ऍक्सेस स्पेसिफायर जर समजा असेल at that time it is possible for us to inherit the data into the derived classes. But if we are going to use the private access specifier in a base class, at that time it is not possible for us to derive the data from the another class. Okay, so as shown in the block diagram, class B is derived from class A. So see here, class B is derived from class A, which is a single inheritance, and then class D is inherited from class B and class C. So this is class D should be inherited from class B and class C. So which is a multiple inheritance. So single inheritance and multiple inheritance combined called as a hybrid inheritance. So simple definition you can keep in your mind if more than one form of inheritance is used within a program, so that type of inheritance should be called as a hybrid inheritance. Okay, so now see here, this is the simple syntax. So this is the class A, and within that class A we are going to write certain data members and member function. Okay, now this is the class B. Okay, now that class B is inherit the data from class A, so that's why we are writing here public access specifier and name of the base class for the class B. And after inheriting the data we are going to write certain code for class B. Okay, so see here, class B is a derived class from class A. So this is the syntax for class A and class B. Now see here, class C is a different class. So that class C should not be derived from any class. Okay. So for that we are going to write some different code. And class D is derived from class B and class C. So class D is derived from class B and class C. So see here, class D is a derived class and it is derived from class B and class C. So this is the declaration of class D. This is declaration of class B. This is for class A and this is for class C. So see one simple example. In that example, what we are doing. So it's better. I should write this example. So see here, we have created class A. Okay. So within that class A, we are going to declare. So within that class A, we are going to declare one integer variable, public integer x. Okay. Now after that, what will we do? After declaring the x variable, we are going to close the class. So we are going to close the class. So now again we are going to create another class and name of that class is B. So that class B should use the data members of class A. So write down here and name of the access specifier, that is public, and the class from which we are going to inherit the data. Write down the name of that class. So name of the class is class A. Okay. So what we will do here, public. Okay. Now create one function, that is void get data. Within that function we are going to print the value of, means we are going to enter the value of x. See out, enter value of x, enter value of x. This better, I will put here in the next line, and then read the value of x, that is c in. Okay, now close the class. Now again I will create another class, name of that class is c. Okay, now right here, I will create another data members here, that is integer y. I will create one data member y, and I will create another function, that is void get data function. Here I am going to print the value of y. See out, enter value of y, enter value of y. I am entering the value of y, and then okay, and read the value of y, that is c in y. I am going to close class C, and now I am create class D. So within that, class D should derive from, class D should be derived from class B and class C, where we are going to use multiple inheritance. This capital. Okay, so here simple, I am going to write, I am going to create void, I am going to create one function that is product. Okay, and I am going to print the product of x and y. Now call here main function, that is integer main, and we know that within that main function we are going to create the object for derived class. Here b is the derived class. Okay, so for b I am going to create one object, that is obj1, and again class d is a derived class, and for class d I am going to create another object, that is obj2. Now obj1 means name of the object dot operator, name of the object dot operator, and call the function get data function. Okay, now obj here get data 1, obj1 dot get data 1 function semicolon obj in class C. Let it be so. Now let me check. Return 0. Now I'm going to run this program. So what will be the error? Let me check first of all. CNX. So semicolon should not be here. Again run this program. After endl semicolon again not present. Void product. Okay. Here brackets are missing. Enter value of x. I will enter the value of x as a 5. Okay. Enter value of y. I will enter the value of y as a train. Again it will ask enter value of x. So I will enter here 6. Okay. We are going to call only one object. Now let it be obj2 dot get data. Enter value of y. If I enter the value of y as a 10, so it will give some garbage value. What happens? Yes, Rani More, you have raised the hand. What happens? Any doubt? Okay, fine. So the output is 50. So see here what happens. So now see here, we are going to create class A, and within that class A we are declare integer variable that is x. Okay. Now we are going to declare class B, but the value of x should be inherited in a class B. So in that class B, what happens? We are going to print the value of x. So class B should contain the value of x. Okay. Now in a class C, we are going to declare another integer variable that is y, and in a class C, we are going to print the value of y. So B contains x, C contains y. So in a class D, what happens? We are going to inherit the data from class B and class C. So in a multiple inheritance, what happens? What is the syntax? First of all, write the name of derived class, and after putting the colon, write the name of the two classes from which we are going to inherit the data, and that classes should be separated by a comma. Okay. Now see here, the value of x should be present in a class B, and value of y should be present in a class C. So we are going to print the product. So the value of x we will get from the class B, and value of 5 we will get from the class C. So x into y, and class D should be derived from class B and class C. So to print the value, first of all call the get data function, because obj2.getData should contain the integer x, okay, and that get data one should contain the value of y, so x and y. So finally we will get the product of x and y, that is 50. Okay, so this is about our hybrid inheritance. So simple concept of hybrid inheritance is, if in a program more than one form of inheritance is used, so that type of inheritance should be called as a hybrid inheritance. So this is the simple program. So you can go through this program so you can easily understand. So today we will cover 2 points, that is hierarchical inheritance as well as hybrid inheritance. In a hierarchical, what happens? Only one base class should be present, and from that base class we are going to create the more than one derived class. Okay, so that type of inheritance should be called as a hierarchical inheritance. And the data members which are common to base classes, that data member should be present in a, sorry, the data members which are common for the derived classes, that data members and member function should be present in a base class in hierarchical inheritance. Okay, but in a uh, hybrid inheritance, what happens? If within a program, if we are going to use more than one form of inheritance, so that type of inheritance should be called as a hybrid inheritance. So in our program we are going to use single inheritance and multiple inheritance. So see here, this is the simple block diagram. So class B should be derived from class A. So here single inheritance should be there, and class B and class C, from the class B and class C, we are going to derive class D. So this is the multiple inheritance. So this is all about hierarchical and hybrid inheritance. So the task for you, so see here, this is nothing but our practical list. Okay. So in that practical list, our practical number 7 is implementation of single inheritance and multiple inheritance. Okay. So that portion already we will cover. Now, implementation of multi-level and hierarchical inheritance. In a previous lecture, I will explain you multi-level in what is the meaning of multi-level inheritance and how it is to be declared. And today we will cover hierarchical inheritance, means practical number 7, practical number 8 is finished. And again, I will today explain implementation of hybrid inheritance, that is nothing but the practical number 9. So whenever our next lecture should be there, so one by one we are going to see these three practicals. Okay, so whenever our next lecture should be there, so we are going to cover these three practicals. And here says that minimum 10 program assignment we have to cover. So when we will cover up to the hybrid inheritance, our 9 practical will over, and out of remaining 4 we will cover again 2 or 3 practicals. So we will cover minimum 12 to 13 practicals, minimum 12 practicals, and from the 12 in your exam 10 practicals should be theirs. Okay, so today we will stop here, and I think all of you should write your roll number in the chat box. And the task for you and the task for you आजच्यासाठी म्हणजे 2 ते 3चं लेक्चर पण आपलं आहे. तर त्या 2 ते 3च्या लेक्चरसाठी तुम्हाला एक टास्क आहे की तुम्ही सिंगल इनहेरिटन्सचं एक प्रोग्राम स्वतःहून टाईप करा आणि रन करून मला शेअर करा. यू शुड शेअर युअर स्क्रीनशॉट ऑफ आउटपुट विथ मी. नाव दिस इज दी work for you for this lecture, that is 2 to 3. All of you should write the code for single inheritance and share the output of your code to me. Okay, along with the complete program. All of you should perform the experiment of single inheritance, and you should share your complete code and output with me. So today we will stop here. Okay, but when this time is expired, so again join. जेव्हा आता एक 6 ते 7 मिनिटं बाकी आहेत, जेव्हा 6 ते 7 मिनिटं एक्सपायर होतील, त्यावेळेस पुन्हा रिजॉइन करा. आणि याच्यासाठी तुम्हाला टास्क आहे, सिंगल इनहेरिटन्सचा प्रोग्राम सर्वांनी इम्प्लिमेंट करायचा आहे. इज इट क्लिअर? क्लिअर आहे का? इज इट क्लिअर टू ऑल ऑफ यू?
हॅलो सर.
बोला की.
सर मोबाईलवर टाईप करायचं आहे का पेजवर लिहून टाकू?
कसंही आउटपुट पण शेअर करायचं आहे की तुम्हाला? टाईप करा की. ऑनलाईन कंपायलर
टाईप
घ्या.
करूच आहे का?
हां, ऑनलाईन कंपायलर घ्या.
बर. येस.